Hello, folks, and welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. My name is Ruth, and I'll be your host. And this is my podcast about all things crocheting, knitting, spinning yarn, and raising sheep on a small sheep farm. If you are a returning listener and viewer, thank you for coming back. And for all of those who are new, thank you for trying me out. I always welcome comments and suggestions in the box down below. Coming to you from Vermont on a very sunny and warm day. Spring has finally sprung here in Vermont. It was a little dicey there for a little while. If you joined me the last time, we were just coming out of damage from an ice storm. And my husband is still taking care of damage from said ice storm. So, but it was one of those storms I'm finding out is very elevation driven. Like we are a couple miles outside the town center where I live. And we found out recently that in town, there really wasn't a lot of tree damage and so forth. Whereas we had a lot of branches down and we're a little higher in elevation where the farm sits. So yeah, it's all interesting. Weather is interesting. So yeah, we're kind of welcoming the warm weather. Things are popping up out of the ground finally. And I started planting some outdoor seeds, just some cold weather crops that can take a joke in case it does get pretty cold again. Just some, what was that? Arugula, which is already coming up, and also some radishes and some salad greens. So just playing it safe. But yeah, it's been nice to kind of get out there and dig in the dirt. We've had our sheep shearing, and that was not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, which was, I guess, Easter weekend. My shearer came by on the Saturday, made quick work of my 4 sheep, and I think I put some footage in the beginning. I didn't film her this time because she doesn't quite like that, and so I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. But suffice it to say, last year I think I have some footage in from the actual shearing. So if you want to take a look, about a year's worth of episodes ago. But I was able to get them all skirted, and skirted just means it's a rough clean of the outside, just dung tags and extra veg matter that's in the fleece itself. So yeah, they're all bagged up. They're ready to go to the mill. And that will happen next month very quickly. But I will talk about that at the end of the podcast. So yeah, that was shearing. Yeah, we're having a good time with things getting warm here. So if you've been with me before, I usually start off with crochet and then I move into knitting. I discuss a little spinning and maybe some shenanigans at the end of the podcast. So that's kind of how the schedule runs here. So I am going to start off with some crochet. I do have a finished object, but I don't have it with me to show you. I did take a picture of it, so I'm going to try to put it up here as I'm talking. But it is out of the latest edition of Crochet World, which is this one. And I happen to get this subscription for being a Crochet Guild of America member. I'm actually one of the charter members. You know, I got in on the ground up and I've been with them ever since. But I usually run through this magazine pretty quickly. I read the chapter news and then I move on. But there was something that really caught my eye in this one. And being that it was timed really well for Easter weekend when this came. And so I said, oh, I got to make these. So the pattern's called Country Fried Chicken. And These are little Amigurumi chickens. And they told me right off the bat that they were going to take not too long to make. And that is truth in advertising. They really did not take long to make, but there are, you know, if you're not into sewing, there are quite a few bits to sew on. But other than that, these were a laugh riot to make. And the reason why I don't own them anymore is I brought them into work. And if you don't know, I work at the Woolly Thistle. So I'm surrounded twice a week with other forms of woolly goodness. And our inventory manager came by and saw them. I basically had them out just to see who would notice. And he came by and he was so enamored by it. He said, "These just make me smile." And I said, "Well, then you own one." And then the other two kind of went to some favorite people at work, and that was the end of that. So yeah, so I don't own these chickens anymore, but they went to good homes, and they will probably stay on the premises at the Woolly Thistle, at least in the warehouse where I work. I did make these out of Woolly Thistle yarn, or yarn that you can get at the Woolly Thistle, I should say. This is Rama Fivel, and it comes in a whole bunch of colorways. It's their worsted weight, Rama's worsted weight yarn. And this one is color number 22. And this one is color number 14. I do have a Ravelry page, which is not complete yet, even though the item is complete. I just need to get a picture up, and then it'll be all done. And then the final color, the third color, is color number 400. And it only took, as you can see, I only had one ball of each color, and I have that much left over still. But each one of the chickens, you know, uses all three colors, you know, just because of, there's a little embroidery that goes on it, goes on each chicken. And so I had to partake in that, of course. You can't just have a plain chicken. So, and since I own chickens, it's kind of, you know, kind of par for the course for me, but you can see right on the chickens, there's some embroidery. Yeah. And see, this one's got the gray legs. This one's got the yellow legs, you know. This one has the comb, the orange comb, and this one has an orange comb, and then this one has the gray comb. So you get the idea. It uses all three colors. Of course, I could have, you know, made these any color, but since I had the magazine in hand and I was at work one day, I'm like, oh, boom, boom, boom. I've got my colors. So that was really, really fun. I think this subscription, I mean, Crochet World's been around forever and ever. And even if you're not a member of the Crochet Guild of America, you can get a subscription to this. And this is their summer issue, actually, summer 2025. So nice stuff in here. I mean, I really even I like that bag on the front as well. So yeah, worth a look through there. So that was my finished object, which I don't have here to show you, but there you go. You have a hard time holding on to stuff. So anywho, let's move on. In whips, I showed this the last time. This is the Sivu tee, which is by Linda Skuja. It's a design by Linda Skuja. That's the Sivu tee there on her. And I'm going to show you mine because I managed to get the yoke done, and I have separated for the sleeves. And it's a little scrunched up, but so there you have it. Oh, I just love this so much, this leaf pattern that she has. It looks like it's embossed onto the garment. So here's the separation for the sleeve. I have had this on, so it does fit. I've had it over something. I have not had it against my skin yet. But I just wanted to make sure the armholes were wide enough. And this type of fabric is super stretchy, so yeah. And the yarn I'm using is from Hopemade Yarn Co. And this is in Hope's favorite, which I believe she's renaming just to Hope. It's 80% extra fine superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% recycled nylon. So it's a 4-ply fingering. Yeah, and this is in the possum colorway. So possum. I believe this colorway was named after a little animal in a children's book. So yeah, so this is so cool. I mean, I love just the variegation in the color, the very subtle variegation of color in this yarn, and it turns up so nicely in the piece as well. So now she has this, she instructs to crochet. This is just basically half double crochet until you get to the end, get to the bottom. She has you doing that for 9 inches from the underarm, which is very, very cropped. And so I probably will not have it that cropped. Those days are over. But anyway, I am going to continue because I have well enough yarn to do that. So as you can see, I still have a caked up ball here. That's my second skein of yarn that I'm on. And then I have 2 more in here of the possum colorway. So yeah, more than enough. And that is on its way. This shouldn't take long at all. There's a little bit of finishing around each armhole, and then it's good to go. So right in time for the the warm weather. Not sure if I'm gonna wear this in the warm weather. I probably can, but as I start to get warm and a little bit of sweaty and that sort of thing, wool just doesn't feel good next to my skin. But this is Hope's favorite, and this is next to Skin Soft, so I am going to try it and see how it feels in the hotter weather. But as a rule, I pretty much put away the wool when it gets really, really hot. So all right, and then I have no updates in my my design, my chakra beret, except to say that thank you all for weighing in on the name. It looks like chakra beret. Chakra's gonna remain, but beret won out over the tam. I was kind of torn between the 2 names because I thought maybe they could work in, interchangeably, but a tam is a specific Scottish hat. And I thank you, Anne, for clarifying that. And so it is a Shetland yarn that I'm using, which is a Scottish yarn. But I really felt like since it's a bigger hat and it's meant to be pulled down and that sort of thing, that maybe the beret is a better way to go. So that's the weigh-in on the naming for the pattern. And stay tuned. I'm going to be working on that next so I can actually upload it to Ravelry and have it available. So yeah, all in due time, right? I find as, the weather gets warmer, I'm finding myself outside more than I am inside, just because I like to see things popping up. And so there goes my making time. But anyway, it's all good, right? So moving on to knitting. I have another finished object. Who am I? If you've been with me for a while, this is the last chapter in this saga. This is the Nordic Nights pullover by Jenn Steingass. I have been working on this for well over a year now. It is a fingering weight colorwork sweater. Well-written pattern. I highly recommend. I was doing mine in the main color is from Maine Yarn Fiber Supply, and it's a fingering weight by them. It is a merino wool and nylon blend. It's superwash merino, And this is what I have left. It is enough to put it to make a square for my my crochet memories blanket. So or crochet, let's see, I think that's the name of it. It is by Hannah Sigmund of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. Forgive me if I'm not remembering the name of the Afghan, but I did show it on here a while ago. And whenever I get some fingering weight yarn, enough of it, I will put it into the leftovers. I will put it into the Afghan. And so then I have kind of a memory of projects that I've made. So that's that one. And then for the color work, I have my hand spun, which looky here, I have all this left over. So I'm thinking once I get a yardage count on this, on how much I have left over, I will probably make something else, like shorty socks or something. It looks like I could probably get some shorty socks out of this. So even if I put it with something like this, or another contrast color, I think that is a doable thing. When I was digging around emptying my bag, I found my swatch. Somebody asked me yesterday in my knitting group, what do you do with all your swatches? And I said, well, they kind of live around the house, Some of them act as mug rugs, and I have one here from not too long ago project, the jean and sweater. So it's just kind of hanging out here on my desk. But anyway, I digress. My Nordic Nights is behind me on the blocking board, so I'm going to get it now. And here it is. It's still a little damp, but oh, so beautiful. It's quite a wonder what a little bit of water and soap will do. So here are the sleeves. Oh, I just love it. I love how it came out. You were all confident it was coming out well, and I was just kind of like, oh boy. But there's a lot of positive length ease in these sleeves. So I have a feeling I'm going to be kind of scrunching them up a little bit here. But yeah, and I just adore it. It's come out so wonderfully. I don't know if the color is, translating on camera, but yeah, definitely a good, I'm so glad I got it done. I'm so glad I made it. Yeah, her patterns are just gorgeous. I mean, they're stunners, and you don't have to commit to a fingering weight pattern. She has them in other weights, DK, even worsted weight. I know one of her designs calls for plotalopi, which is the kind of unspun yarn from Iceland. Yeah, Lopi. So yeah, you don't have to commit to an over a year-long project. Or if you're monogamous, it won't take you a year to get it done. I just tend to be a real magpie when it comes to working on different projects. So, all right, so I am going to go and put this back, and I will be back shortly. Okay, I am back. Had a little drink of water there. Yeah, so that was Nordic Nights, and it is done and done. If you've been with me for a while, you know I have this other fingering weight sweater on the go called the Halftone. And that is also sitting downstairs in the living room waiting to be done. I had to rework the sleeve. The first sleeve, when I started making it, was huge. It was just gargantuan. So yeah, I'm reworking that, and then I'll repeat it on the other side, hopefully. I'm writing everything down. And then that will be coming to you soon as well. But because I finished the Nordic Nights, I thought I needed a victory cast on, so just something to cleanse the palette, a smaller project, not a sweater, not even a vest. Let me see if I can find this now, where I put the stuff. So anyway, last time I podcasted, I showed you these sock sets that Hopemade Yarn Co puts out. And I shared with you this one. This is her latest. It's called April Showers Bring May Flowers. So she has enough yardage there to make some shorty socks. And even, I think you can even make them taller than shorty socks. You don't have to be committed to that. There's enough yardage here. This was the one previous to that. It is, yeah, stick season in the pines. How can I forget? You know, we just came out of stick season, or we are coming out of stick season. But what I did was I used one of her sock sets that you can no longer get, and that is Rhinebeck FOMO. She dyed this for her as a gift to the people who were her housemates at Rhinebeck last fall. And I balled it up, so that's what it looks like balled up. And this is the contrast color. What was nice about this is you could pick out any of these colors from the speckles for your yarn set. So I was crazy and I just decided to go with orange. Not crazy. Like I said, you know, I like the brighter colors more and more. So, but yeah, and it just spoke to me. It said springtime as well, not just Rhinebeck FOMO. And so I started a pair of toe-up socks. This is from, these socks are from the book Socks from the Toe Up by Wendy Johnson. So I have the book, and I also have toe-up socks in a box. And what's nice about this is that she gives you these little cards. Each card has just one pattern per card, and you can put these in your bag, and it's a lot less heavy than carrying the book around. She also has tools in here, cards for tools. She goes over what kind of needles to use when sock knitting. Also some techniques like casting on and binding off techniques. And then she has, I believe it's 3 different types of socks. There's lace socks, Gansey socks, and then, or no, 4, I lied. There's sport weight socks, and then there's cable socks. Yeah, so really fun. I kind of like a little pick deck like this, you know. But yeah, so it gives you a picture on the front, and then it opens out and gives you the pattern. And so yeah, I started these yesterday. And I did a Turkish cast on, which on the first sock, I got to tell you, I've done the Turkish cast on before, but it's been a couple of years, so I always need a picture to follow or some kind of instructions just so I don't screw it up. But yeah, I really like this toe. It's totally seamless. And you can get this from Judy's Magic Cast On as well. Yeah, and then what I'm doing, I switched over to the regular color, the variegated color for the lace work. Now, whether this lace work will show up all that significantly, time will tell, but I just can't anymore just knit a plain vanilla sock. I will be bored to tears. So even if the lace work doesn't show up, it's given me something to do, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I like to, you know, spice it up a little bit. So that's the front. This is where the lace work is. You really can't see much of it at all because all I've done is about 3 or 4 rows there. But hoping to have more done for you next time we meet again. I am going on a road trip to see family next weekend, so that's always a lot of car time, you know, a lot of knitting car time. So yeah, this is Hopemade Yarn Co. again. This is on her Jojo's favorite sock, or it's a Jojo's favorite sock set, she's calling this. And then of course this is the Rhinebeck FOMO color, which I apologize, you can no longer get. But I'm planning on working through the other two colorways. And also, I would like to work through this deck of cards, of sock cards. So hopefully, you know, in the future, I won't get so bogged down with a very, very long project. We'll have these shorter projects going on. So yeah, that's great. Enjoy that immensely. I just casting on and getting that Turkish cast on is enough of a brain teaser for me. So yeah, those are fun. I am going to put that up here because what I want to share with you next is not knitting, although it kind of is. I'm taking a course with Cal Patch right now. It is called her Artful Garment course, and it's a virtual course. So what happens is once a month on a Saturday we meet virtually for 2 hours, and she demonstrates or teaches a technique that you can use to embellish what you're wearing. And it started in February. February's month, we did embroidery. And she loves embroidery so much that every month she's going to be teaching us a new stitch along the way. But so we started with embroidery. And then for March, we did applique. And then this month, April, we were doing fabric stamping, paint stamping on fabric. Which I had to bow out of that one because my shearer was here. But luckily she records the classes, so you can go back and watch them at your leisure. And so that one's very interesting. I have some pieces of fabric already cut up and ready to go. I have my paints. I just have to get to it. But the embroidery really spoke to me. And I remember embroidering a little bit when I was younger. Even when I was a kid, I did a little bit of cross stitch. And so I also showed this book, which I'm about to show you, that I acquired a couple of months ago, called Embroidery on Knits. And I thought, well, you know, this has been sitting here. And and even Cal said, you know, she's guilty of buying books and bringing them home and never looking at them again. And so am I. I tend to get really revved up by a good book like this, and then I bring it home, and I don't know whether the concept overwhelms me or whether I figure, oh, that's going to take a big chunk of time and I just don't have it right now. Well, because I was in this class, it kind of gave me the kick in the butt to do it. And she wonderfully explains how to embroider on knits in this book. She spells it all out for you. Now, granted, I followed her directions to the T until they didn't work for me. And I'll let you know what that was all about. But anyway, let me show you what I've done here. This sweater is the Victory Cardigan by Corrine Tomlinson, who is the owner of the Woolly Thistle. I believe I made this cardigan. I started it during COVID and then finished it up probably, you know, as we were coming out of COVID and that sort of thing. And this is the Victory Cardigan this is Rama Voms. So what I did was, let me just show you the label. This is Rama Voms, which is their, it's kind of an Aran weight. It's heavier than worsted weight. This is colorway 406. But I took this patterning from Embroidery on Knits, and I embroidered it on the cardigan. And I used some thrifted tapestry wool yarn for this. Now, bear in mind that I have not embroidered in a long, long time. And the fact that this came out as well as it did is just astounding to me. So that will tell you how fairly straightforward it is to do this. And once I had this done, I wanted to embroider every sweater. So I had to like put on the brakes, you know, because anyway, she uses stabilizing fabric, which you can buy online. And what I did was I actually printed onto the stabilizer this patterning, and then I stuck it to this garment, to the sweater. And then she does put an embroidery hoop on it. Now, I did that for the first tree, or for the first twig that I did, this one in the middle. And then when I popped it off and tried to get it back on, I had a heck of a time. It was like a full body sport to try to get the embroidery hoop. This is quite a thickness, as you can tell with, you know, Aran weight yarn is thick. And then you're popping it through, you know, you're trying to get it on, you know, the stabilizer and the knitting, and you're trying to get everything to smooth out. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. But the stabilizer was still there. So I just did it without the hoop. So that's where I say I followed her directions until it didn't work for me anymore. So, but you do you know, like if the embroidery hoop makes you feel good and you can use it, I wholeheartedly applaud that. But as you can see, for me, it didn't really make a difference at all. And one of the ladies in my knitting group said, it's very forgiving, Ruth. And she's done this before. Like she did this years ago to one of her sweaters. She brought it in and showed it to me. And she says it's very forgiving. And she's right. Even with my wonky little French knots, it just doesn't really matter. Like if you're that close to me to figure out that every single French knot is not, you know, not on par, then you're way too close. So yeah, just really enjoy. I wanted to share that with you. I know this is not an embroidery podcast. That's not my content. But I thought if you want to zhuzh up your knits a little more, yeah, give it a go. Give it a try. It's not as intimidating as it looks. So. All right, so just a little update on spinning. This is what I've been doing on my e-spinner. I think I shared this with you. This is something I got from Four Hearts Farm, mainly fiber. She is in Maine, and I bought this from her at Rhinebeck. And I've been doing this on my e-spinner, and it's been coming out just lovely. And I'm probably going to see how much yardage I have in the end and go with that. I've also been drop spindling a little bit, but I will share that on a future podcast. So upcoming shenanigans. I am going to New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, which is not this coming weekend, but the next weekend, which is Mother's Day weekend. I will be going on the Sunday. And I am going to be dropping off my fleeces to Catawampus Farm. They are my not spinning mill, but they process my fiber so that I'm able to spin it myself, which means they wash it, they card it, and then they process it into roving. So that'll be fun. I will try to take you along with my camera for that event, and hopefully we'll get some good shots of all sorts of yarny and sheepy stuff. So, all right, I think that is going to do it for me. Stay safe and keep crafting. Until the next time, take care of yourself, and we'll see you.